Hey guys, so I'm going to run through a real quick wrist warm-up ahead of my calisthenics session. Planning on doing some handstands, so it means lots of weight going through my hands and wrists. I want to make sure they are thoroughly warmed up first. So somewhere I'm always going to start off with is a forearm flexor stretch. We need the ability to lean forwards over our fingers. So if we're tight in the forearms, it's going to be a non-starter for handstands. So where I'm going to start off is kneeling on the ground, placing my palms down, fingers pointing back towards my knees. Now, if I'm starting in a position where this is already challenging, what I do is break it down to one hand at a time. Place one hand a bit further in front, lean forward so my shoulder is that much further in front of my palm so that I've got less of an acute angle here, and that takes a bit of stress away from here. And then simply, all I'm going to do is lean back until I feel a bit of a stretch and rock back out of it again. As I'm doing this, I'm paying attention to actually trying to keep active through the hand. So I'm not laying my fingers completely flat, slightly curling them up and squeezing down into the ground to utilize the muscles of that palm and those fingers. As I lean in, that should make more of an impact up here in the muscles I'm stretching. So let's go back and forwards 10 or so times, and then I'm going to hold a deeper stretch there. Just breathe through that 10 to 15 seconds, holding that position. It should still be comfortable, but it is a stretch. Anything sharp or sudden or searing, anything like that, you just back right off. That's probably a bit more range of motion than you're ready for. Of course, if you're doing it one side at a time, make sure you swap over and you do the same on the other side. But if you're in a position where you're already mobile enough that you can start from here with your shoulders basically above your hands, you can sit further back to create more space as you sit your hips towards your heels. Rocking backwards and forwards, grabbing a hold of the ground with your fingers, practicing that hand strength as you go, and then sitting for a deeper stretch. Now, that is stretch number one. What we're going to look at next is the extensors of the forearms, the opposing side. We want to set up on our knuckles, like so. Hands are directly beneath your shoulders, and what we're going to do from here is just slowly roll outwards towards the backs of the hands, trying to keep those knuckles closed. They may slightly open, depending on how restricted you are around the outside of your forearms, those extensor muscles. But then we're going to push the knuckles into the ground to straighten those wrists again. We're using the body weight here as resistance, so the weight of my chest is bearing down upon my wrists, and then I push back away to re-straighten my wrists. Now, if that is particularly intense, you can always start this off by standing over a table. Just lay a towel or something over it to make it soft. You can even do it against a wall. It's going to be much less intense. But I think this is a great balancer to the previous stretch. And essentially, if you want to do things like muscle ups that require a false grip, because you have to be able to close those hands and bend the wrists to this degree, which means being flexible enough in the back of the forearms. But it's just good to have a complementary sense of strength either side of any given joint. Then we're going to work on the one that's particularly important for our handstand strength, is placing our palms down, fingers pointing away from us. Give the body a bit more length into it, and this is a palm press. So I'm going to spread my fingers out, curl them in slightly so that I'm holding onto the floor, and then driving the pads of my first knuckles down into the floor and locking out my elbows by engaging my triceps. I'm going to push the heel of my palm away from the ground. Lower myself gradually back and push away. So there, my forearm muscles, the flexors that we first stretched, they are contracting to pull my wrist back into a straight position, again using my body weight as resistance. So this is a key one for helping us balance in those handstands, because we want to be placing the weight into our fingers and the middle of our palm rather than resting into the heel of the palm. So getting used to absorbing weight through your fingers is going to carry over really nicely into those handstands and build some good durable strength in your forearms. Run through perhaps 2 rounds of that, 10 reps each, before you go and do your handstands. Your wrists will thank you for it.